Ochite guys, welcome. Hi, I'm Karol J. Welcome back to Flashlight Unity. So I'm on my way home and I have one more video that I want to put out. And this video is called Signs of the Last Days. Signs of the Last Days. And so I want to give you some examples of what's actually taking place in the world and compare that to the signs of the last days. So we can see right where we're at. So when I TKO your asses and try to get you to understand what's actually taking place or what's imminent for this country, maybe you can finally get the idea. And we'll talk about it. I'll see you on the next shot. Ochite. Okay, so let's get right into it. Signs of the last days. And and this is not definitive of anything, but it's just an observation of everything, So I'm just gonna go over the signs of the last days, just some of the things that I put up. And anybody can Google this. All you got to do is Google it. So I'm just going to compare it to what's going on now, and then you be the judge. And I'm going to read them off, and then I'm going to give a couple examples of each one. And, hey, we're going to let this video ride out. So I'm going to leave you something to marinate on. So the first one is, the first sign of the last days is wars. W-A-R-S, right? War. This is what I'm talking about. Conflict. And this is number one. Wars, conflict, and other man-made and natural disasters. Okay, so war with check, we got that. That's a check, right? Because I already told you that's the whole point of these videos. I'm trying to let you know that war is imminent for this country, and not just this country. Just look around. Look at the Ukraine and Gaza war. That's been a major war, and it's been going on for months. Probably years. I'm pretty sure it's been going on. I haven't been keeping tabs with it as close, but I think we can all agree that this war has been going on a good little minute. So much so that it is infecting us over here in the United States, because we already know that our government has some kind of stake in that hunt by giving away the money. So we got wars. That's a check. Conflict. Okay, that's a check too. So I have my notes here, and so I'm going to go over some of the things that's conflict. Let's see. The conflicts. Can you think of some of the conflicts that we have? What about just economy in general? Look at all the homeless people that we have. And you might say, well, that don't affect me. Well, why wouldn't it affect you? Because if the economy get any worse, let's say where you work at go out of business. Let's say a lot more companies go out of business. Then where you going to work? Then where would you be? They say the average person, the average family, average person is like one, maybe two paychecks away from being homeless. So how would you survive if you miss one, maybe two paychecks out of your pay? How would you survive? Would you fare okay, or would you be threatened to be homeless? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves, that we need to actually start reflecting on and see just how serious this situation is. Because just because you feel secure right now in your job does not mean that that job will be guaranteed, And let's face it, your job is how you eat. You get the money, you go to work, you get your job, you get the money, you get the paycheck. Suppose that wasn't so. What would you do? How would you feed yourself? How would you feed your family? There's something I want you to ponder on. And let's see what else. Conflict. Let's see. What other kind of conflicts do we have? What about the just recent conflict? The Supreme Court ruling for women. I don't know if you're a woman or not, but it doesn't matter, because if you're a man or a woman, this should affect everybody. Because if they feel as though they can make a judgment like this concerning a woman's person, a woman's body, how long do you think it's going to be before they start making judgments on any part of the body, or male or female, or anybody? Suppose they want to transmute the body. Suppose they want to inject stuff into the body, and you say no, and then they send it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says the ruling is that everybody will get injected with this. That's genocide. You know what I mean? So think about that. You got to think about these things when you're thinking that they do not affect you. We are all related. Everything is relative. Everything is relative. And just because you don't see it at your front door right now, it's actually creeping from the back. It's creeping from the back. So this new Supreme Court ruling about the women and abortions, and and I'm not saying it's one way or the other, because that's not the It's the principality of it. The principality is there should be no laws on any person's persons and what they do with their persons, because I got a couple of laws that I want to put out for the men who rape women, male women, whoever rape who, for the men or women who have pedophile kids. So it's a whole bunch of laws that can be made based on acts of indiscretion that are being done. But the idea of the Supreme Court, another man, so to speak, and I don't care if it's woman or man, I'm speaking about man as far as man being on this earthly realm, in this earthly globe. So man, when I say man, that could be woman or that could be man, unless I'm trying to emphasize a point of the sexes. But yeah, Supreme Court, you don't think that's creating a conflict? Most definitely creating a conflict. What other conflicts can I think of? Racism. So is that something that affects you? And if you don't think it affects you, suppose the ones that it is affecting, suppose they do get wiped out. Suppose that one race that's being affected get wiped out. Who you think next is going to be? What do you think? You think it's going to be race, or is it going to be another created instance where there can be create a conflict? I'm trying to show you how these things work. They're systematic. When you got a energy within a area, when you got an energy within a territory that always sees chaos, they only think about chaos, destruction, and chaos. It's just a matter of time. Even if the perceived problem, so they say, was to disappear or was to be gone, there's going to be more chaos. They will find a way, because they come to steal, kill, and destroy. It's the energy. It's the energy that's in the air. So when I talk about racism, if some of you who are maybe fair skinned and feeling like, oh no, I don't have to worry about that because that doesn't affect me because I'm this color, So it could be anything. It could be anything. And trust me, when you got a calamity, an energy that's filled with calamity, they will find anything to be prejudiced against. And it doesn't always have to be the color of anyone's skin. Believe me, they will find something else. So when you think about racism, it is a collective problem. It's not an individual problem. It's not a certain class problem. It's not a certain group problem. It is a collective problem. And it's definitely creating conflict. And let me keep going. What else? Okay, so let's go with wage stagnancy. And another thing we could talk about is inflation. You don't think that inflation is causing a conflict? When I think about real estate now, and not just real estate, I think about everything that we buy, everything that we purchase now, everything that's up for purchase now has went up astronomically, and real estate being the number one. How can real estate go from being a certain price to going up either 25, 30%? That's a lot. Most things go up, they gradually go up 10% here, 12% here, maybe 15%. How does one jump from a rent being a certain price to jump into like 25 to 30% more? And then, but yet the wages are not growing. The wages are still the same. You got people robbing Peter to pay Paul. You got people shacking up together just to share the bills, just to share the responsibility, because it's hard for people to do it by themselves. Doesn't that feel like a conflict to you? The economic state of a country, that brags about being the richest country there is in the world. How is that possible that they got people who are borderline homeless and people who are actually homeless? My prediction, and I think I said in another video, my prediction is that within 12 months, they're going to be a greater percentage of the population that will be homeless. And following the 12 months following that, there will be more homeless people. If we keep on the same trajectory that we're on now, you're going to see this country is going to be in ruins. You know how they talk about the classes. They say the rich, the middle class, and then the lower class. Those classes are going to merge, and one of those classes is going to leave. And so the class that's going to leave is going to be the middle class. So that's going to leave the lower class and then the higher class. So guess what? You go which way? That pendulum can swing either way. You know, you never know. And then I already talked about the jobs. Suppose your company closed where you work at. Suppose a bunch of companies close and there's nowhere to work. AI is on the scene. AI doesn't present as a conflict to you. AI doesn't present as something that can potentially take your position. You know, and I don't know, this is something for you to think. I'm giving you things to think about. I'm playing the devil's advocate for all the people that feel as though I'm fine. No, I'm fine. No, I don't want to cause any trouble. No, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to cause any trouble. You know, no, everything's good. I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm trying to get you to wake up. I'm trying to TKO your ass so you can wake up and see that a problem for one is a problem for all. I'm just trying to get people to understand. I'm trying to get people to understand and see that we are all in this together. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you dice it up, we are all in this together. It's just no other way around it, you know, because those who think that they are safe in the clear and fine because of their current job or whatever, that's the blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye, that could be gone. And we know that with companies, so many companies that have closed down, that have shut down, that have went bankrupt, leaving people without a job, but having to search for a new job. We've seen it and we know what it looks like and we know what it feels like not to know what you're going to do tomorrow or the next day or the week after that or the week after that. So I want to try to get you to understand that we are a collective. We're not individual in this, we are a collective. And it's time we start getting together and acting like a collective. Because after a while, if you don't use your mind to think now, then later on, you won't have the option. And I'm going to keep on going. What else? Okay, so the next one that we have, we got wars and we got conflict. And I just went over the wars. We already know there's wars, many wars going on around the world. These are things that you can Google. Just to give you something to think about or something to do besides TikTok, Google how many countries are in war right now or are in disagreements or have conflict right now. So conflict can go under wars or it can go under conflict. So just Google what's going on. We are all in the same boat. And when I say all, we got you can break that up into the United States and then you can break that up into the world as well. So start thinking about it. Google some of these things. I'm just giving you the idea so you can research for yourself. Do not keep going by somebody else's say. Find out things for yourself so you can start activating your own mind. And I'm gonna keep going. So the next one is man-made and natural disasters. Well, let's go. I got a major man-made disaster, and it was just a few short years ago, 4 years to be exact, and it was in 2020, and it goes by the name of COVID. Do you remember that? I know I do. Now, COVID, when I, you know, and it bugs me when I tell people and I try to give them a warning sign, you know, and I'm giving you the warning so that you can prepare, and not just prepare, but to do your own research too, you know, to use critical thinking and say, well, what are the possibilities? What are the chances? Is that highly likely based on what's going on in the world and what's happened thus far? In 2020, we got a virus that changed the history of this world. I would say United States, but in 2020, we got a whiff of a virus that changed the history of this world forever. It will forever go down in history of the COVID virus. Now that's it's a life-changing. It was a life-changing virus. It was a life-changing pandemic. You know, so there were many people that died in that situation, you know, and that was something that they knew about way before. By the time that we found out about it, the COVID virus was out and it was widespread in China, and nobody knew about it. Nobody in the United States really knew about it. By the time we found out about it, it was up on us. It was right smack dab up on us, like, yeah, I'm here, you know. And then it was at that moment, there was no time to prepare. You notice what he said, pay attention to what I'm saying. There was no time to prepare, no time, because there was no warning. There was no warning of COVID. So if nothing else, when somebody gives you a warning about an impeding dangerous event that may strike where you reside, that strike where you are, that might strike to change your life forever, your ears should automatically open up. Your ears should automatically open up and say, maybe there's something into this. Maybe I need to do some research. Maybe I need to open my mind and really recognize what has happened thus far. Now, okay, so COVID, let's see what else. Natural disasters. How many storms, how many hurricanes, how many earthquakes? Look at all the storms that's been happening around the world, the floods, the fires. I mean, things have been happening that's been out of the ordinary, and they have been destructive things that happen, and many people died, so, I mean, what does that tell you? Is that Mother Nature? Would you think that's Mother Nature punishing people? Or you think it's a combination of what's actually being put out into the atmosphere? See what I'm saying? Who knows? We don't know. When you got all these companies that has all these toxic chemicals and fumes and stuff, and they send that out into the world, into the atmosphere, what do you think that's doing? Do you think that's harming the planet in any way, shape, form, or fashion? I mean, these are just things to think about. These are things to think about. Why you thinking that you're good, you're fine, you're in your own little world, you don't want to get involved. I'm okay. I just want you to kind of start thinking about these things. When you think about the signs of the last days, and I'm not saying it's the last days, but I'm just giving you the signs, and this is for you to do your own assessment, your individual assessment, using your own discernment and your own intuition. You have to use your own critical thinking on these here. Let's say what else? Okay, so we talked about the storm. So now we got war, we got conflict, we got man-made, and we got natural disasters. We already at 4 for 4 that I gave you examples of that's happening right now in the present. Right now as we speak. Present time. 2024. These things are happening. Okay, so let's keep going. The next one is increased levels of evil and wickedness in the world. Okay, so let's go with the child pornography. I keep saying pornography, but I'm going to say pedophile, because the things that from what I hear, they doing horrible things to these children. Grown people are kidnapping kids, doing horrible things to children. People that little people that don't even know half the times what they're being pushed into, what they're being forced to do. Can you imagine that? We can all go back to when we was a child, all back when we was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you imagine some of the things that they're describing that these grown people, and I'm going to say people because I don't know if it's men or women. We know for a fact that it's men. I don't know if there's women involved. But we all have been a child at once upon a time or another. And we can all remember what we was thinking about at age 7, 8, 9, 10. And it definitely is not the things that these adults are kidnapping these kids to do. So you think about that. When you think about evil, when you think about wicked, how evil and wicked does that sound to you? And another thing that makes it more wicked is that the U.S., who's supposed to be the richest country who says they serve and protect, are they protecting the children? What about the women? They're doing all kind of things now. They're putting poisonous tissue on car doors of women so that when they come back to their car, they'll touch it. You don't think that's wicked? You don't think that's evil? They're putting things on their windshield. They're putting things on their car doors so that when they come back and touch it, it's going to make them drowsy so they pass out so a van can pull up and take them away and they'll never see them again. So if that's not wicked, I don't know what is. So just start paying attention while you saying, oh, that doesn't affect me. Oh, no, we're fine. Oh, everything's going to be okay. You're putting your trust in the wrong places. You're putting your security in the wrong places. You're closing your mind and you're dumbing down. Let's keep going. Let's see, what else? Okay, so, and another wicked thing I want to talk about is just your government. Your government clearly know that people are suffering. You clearly know that people are suffering. And the government clearly knows that inflation has went up, and yet nobody has bothered to look at the minimum wage to say, well, since inflation is rising, why wouldn't minimum wage rise? And once again, for those who say, "Well, that doesn't affect me. I'm not bothered. I'm not on minimum wage." You never know. For right now, you're not. Right now, you're not. So what happens when destruction comes, when there is no jobs and you won't even have a minimum wage? You wish you would have had a minimum wage. What happens if destruction comes to this country? There's no jobs to go to and there's no paychecks to get. No minimum wage. What will you do? What will you do? Will you be involved in? Suppose the people who need minimum wage now got all the skills. Got all the skills to hunt, to fish, to do this, to make that, and to sew. I mean, suppose they are the ones that got all the skills to do that. I bet you won't look down on them then. I bet you won't turn a cheek. You know, then they'll be your best friend. You'll be looking for them, trying to find them in the daytime with a flashlight. I'm just saying, when you look down on other people for whatever reason, thinking that you're better or that you're okay or that it does not, their issue does not affect you, you need to think again. Because those roles can be flipped with a drop of a hat. Just something to think about. Let me see if I can find, did I write some more evil down? Let's see. Oh yeah, and homeless. You know, the homelessness. You got a country that send millions of dollars over to another country when you got people who here are homeless. You mean to tell me out of all the people in Congress, in the government, nobody can think of something that they can do for the homeless to try to help them get off their feet? You know, and granted, I know some people are homeless because they want to be, but that's not everybody. Some people are just falling on hard times, and we already know. I just talked about that. Suppose you miss one, maybe 2 paychecks. Where would you be? Would you be able to maintain? You know, these are things you got to say. And we can even go 3 months, 2.5 months, 3 months. If you miss 3 paychecks, where would you be? How would you survive? You know, so that's what I'm saying. You're so close. We're all relative. We're all united. We're relative. And people keep thinking like they're separate, like these issues are separate issues, and they're not. We're all relative to each other. Let me keep going. Okay, so that was, okay, so we got wars, we got conflict, we got man-made, and we got natural disasters. And we had increased levels of evil and wickedness. You got people in the industry right now that's behind bars. One of them went behind bars and they say he killed himself. He hung himself. You know, I ain't mentioning no names. And you got one that's in there right now going through it. You know, who's next? Who's going to be next? What else? What else? When we open all these closet doors and all these bones fall out, what do you think we going to find? You know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of evil that's being done behind the scenes. And I want to say there's a whole bunch of evil being done in plain sight. It's just if people don't open their eyes to recognize the evil that's being done in plain sight, they will be going to their demise. Because if somebody's willing to do evil right in front of your face, they don't care nothing about you. If they're willing to do some kind of evil to deceive you right in your face, that's basically telling you how they feel about you. When I say you putting your trust and your faith in the wrong thing and the wrong people, you are putting your trust and faith in the wrong thing and the wrong people. It's time to wake up, people. We got to wake up, wake up, wake up. And let me keep going. Okay, so the next one, rising environmental hazards. Okay, so let's talk about fertilization. Now, we don't know. Now, we all go to the grocery store, right? And this is not everybody. Some people do grow their own food. But we all go to the grocery store. Majority of the people go to the grocery store to get their food, their produce, and everything else. Do you really know what you're buying? Do you really know what kind of toxic chemicals are actually on your produce, on your food? And then let's talk about the food that's in containers or in the boxes. Does your food say non-GMO? Or does your food say genetically modified? Do you know? Do you look at the back of the products of your food? You know, people are getting sicker now. They got more diseases. They got a new disease, a new name for a new disease that turn up every year. Do you think that's a coincidence that there's new sicknesses that come up every year? What changed? We're supposed to be evolving. So which, in my mind, that would tell me that sicknesses and viruses and stuff like that should be diminishing, not increasing. There's a new sickness that comes up with a new name, a new illness that comes up with a new name. And guess what? The medicine that they prescribe is an ongoing medicine. There's never like a one shot and done. There's never a one and done for these medicines, for these new illnesses that come up that they claim they got a name. There's never a one and done. You can't take one pill and be done. No, you got to keep taking it. Let's go back to COVID. Even with COVID, they created a shot in what, 2 months, 6 months, 3 months? You got diseases that's been around this, that been in this earthly realm for centuries, for decades, and they haven't found a cure. But you telling me a disease that come out, a virus that they made, man-made, they made it in a lab, they admitted it. We all know that. The receipts are there. The receipts are worldwide, and they known on that. You telling me that a virus that they made, they came up with a vaccination just like that? And guess what they did? They said, oh yeah, get this vaccination. It's going to solve everything. Get it. You need this vaccination to keep from spreading it. And guess what happened? People still got the virus again and again. So they said, okay, well, we're going to make part 2. We're going to make part 2 of the vaccination for this virus. And guess what happened? People still got COVID again and again. And guess what else guess what they said? Oh, we got a part 3. We got a part 3 to the virus vaccination. Just go in and get your part 3 virus shot. You know, and guess what happened? People still got COVID again. You know, how dumb. I mean, you fool me once, okay, shame on you. Fool me twice, then shame on who? How much fooling does one have to realize who's on their team, who's for them, and who's not? I'm trying to wake you up. You need to recognize what's being done. People who care about you don't do stuff like this. We found that at the last minute for COVID. There was no warning. There was no nothing. It was just like stay at home. Do you not think that was a drill? If a virus is airborne, why would we have to stay inside? Isn't it going to come through the vents? Isn't it going to come through the vents anyway? It's airborne. Why would we have to stay inside? You don't think that was a drill to see how quick and how effectively they can get everybody to stay in one spot where they tell them to stay? You know, just think about it. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I want y'all to think about things because apparently the world is the people of this country are in a daze. They're in a daze and a haze. And I personally think that they have PTSD from having to be in a house for a few months. People had to be in a house for a few months and they lost their mind as if they was out there making money moves. Half the people who wanted to get back outside was to go do frivolous stuff that wasn't going to save humanity, stuff that wasn't going to make them smarter, give them more wisdom, stuff that definitely is not going to make them more money. They wanted to do things that was going to make them spend money, material. It's a material world. That's all this country promotes. It's a material world. People wanted to get back out in the world so they can spend money. That's it. That's what they wanted to do. Not gain knowledge, not gain any wisdom. People could have took those 8 months and learned a new skill, learned a new trait. Nope, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go out, be back on their phones, be out in the public, and go spend money. Hang out at bars and clubs, this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying. You can't sit still for a few months. You have to be going out and doing stuff that's not gonna matter if you wait a few months to do it. I'm just saying, this is where the priorities are. This is where the priorities of the people are. It's a no wonder nobody's in an uproar. It's no wonder nobody's in an uproar. And I want to go back to well, no, I'll put it on the next one. Yeah, I'll leave it right there. It's a no wonder that nobody's in an uproar. Everybody's sleeping. Everybody's sleeping. They got everybody in a good hypnotic trance. And they put y'all to bed every day. I think they blow the dust. I think they blow dust every night and put America in a daze. They be like, night, night. And they blow the dust and everybody go to sleep and wake up and be like, oh, what happened? What's going on? But yeah, they'll say that. No, but I don't even think nobody asks what's going on. I think everybody grab their phone and say, what's that funny video on TikTok? I want to see it. I don't believe nobody asks what's going on. I think the first thing people do when they get up in the morning is grab their phone and look for something that's on social media. That's just how I feel. If that's you, then you know. Am I lying? I don't think I am. And I'm going to keep going. Okay, so genetically modified. Let's see. I talked about the fertilizer. the farmers. For the last I heard, they increased the amount of fertilizers that they can put on the crops to keep the bugs in. So they say either to keep it lasting longer, to make it grow bigger, or to keep the bugs out. We don't know why they're doing it. Why they doing it? Do you think, could it be possibly they want to kill people slowly? Do you think that they are in cahoots with the Food and Drug Administration? So they put the poison on the food, you eat the food, it goes into your body. After a while, the Food and Drug Administration already got the dang on the sickness labeled and said, okay, this is what this is. You don't see a connection there? You don't feel like that's a connection? Why would it be okay for powers to be to make a decision to say that it's okay to pour poison, to spray poison on the food that people have to put into their bodies? I'm just trying to understand that. Do you think that's okay? I'm just trying to, I'm for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out where are people's minds. What are y'all thinking? Pretty soon, y'all not going to get a chance to think. Pretty soon, y'all not going to get a chance to think. If you don't think now, pretty soon you ain't gonna have to think, because you got people waiting in line. They're itching to tell you what to do. Every aspect of your life, they are itching to tell you what to do. They want to dictate everything you do. They want to dictate your comings and goings, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, what you buy, what you wear, what you drive, how you think, what you say. So if you're gonna waste your thoughts on TikTok videos, or going out to the nightclub, or going out to eat all the time, or just thinking about having fun and not thinking about what's actually going on that can be a detriment to your way of life, if not your life altogether. If you're gonna continue to think about that, then guess what? You're destined to be under the control of the ones who itching, because they itching, man. When I tell you they itching, you would think they was a crackhead. You would think it's crackheads out there. They so desperate to tell y'all, to dictate to y'all what they want y'all to do. But from the time you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, the way you move left, the way you move right, y'all don't understand. I don't think y'all hear me. And I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I got the GMO, genetically modified food. I got the fertilizer. I mean, some kind of way they gonna poison us. Some kind of way they gonna poison. They poisoning us some kind of way. They trying to hit it from all angles, you know. And so let me tell you something else about the rising environmental hazards. So I seen a report on toothpaste, and this is something that you can Google and get your receipts. Fluoride, when you use toothpaste, and this is something that we all use every day, right? The fluoride in the toothpaste is something, it blocks your third eye, which means, and your third eye is symbolic to a thought part of your consciousness. The fluoride in toothpaste dims that. That probably would explain. Oh damn, I just had a breakthrough. That probably would explain it. Toothpaste is something that we all use every day, and the fluoride in the toothpaste blocks this particular specimen or organ. It's a spot, your third eye. It blocks it, it dims it, so it's not as effective, it's not as receptive, it's not as responsive. And so what happens? It's pretty much like you taking medicine, like you taking NyQuil, where one state you will be alert, you know, you can go do stuff, and then another state you taking NyQuil. You still up, you still able to move around, you can look around, you can talk, but you groggy, you dim. So that's what fluoride in the toothpaste is doing to the brain. And our third eye, is symbolic for our connection to source. That's how we elevate. That's how we get a better intuition, to get to our higher self, our highest self. Nobody cares. Nobody's exploring. Nobody's reading. Nobody wants to know. But I guarantee you would look at that phone from anywhere from 20 to 50, 60 times a day. I guarantee you. Somebody send you a video, I bet you America consume more videos, more social media videos than they do any amount of wisdom in a week's time. And I say in a day's time, in a month's time, in a year's time. If you was to weigh how much wisdom or knowledge that people get as opposed to how many social media video or content that they watch that's not elevating them in any way, shape, and form, if you do that over a year, if social media was a college, people would have doctorates. If social media was a educational institution, people will have doctorates because they use that so much. They are on it so much. And it's not providing any bit of wisdom for them. It's not helping them elevate and grow in no way, shape, or form. They just is dumb and in a haze. And when I say dumb, I'm using that loosely. Because if you're not where you're supposed to be, if you're not where you're supposed to be in this life, then I am talking to you. If you are not fully where you're supposed to be, if you don't feel happy, you're happiest, if you don't feel like, okay, yeah, I did that, then I'm talking to you. Because the time that you spend on social media is the time that you could be learning something to elevate yourself, to increase your awareness, to increase your consciousness. Because I know if your consciousness was increased or your awareness was increased, you'll be right here with me, trying to get other people to wake up and pay attention to what's going on. I personally I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I don't want nobody to dictate when I wake up, when I go to sleep, when I go left, when I go right. I don't want nobody to dictate when I drive or when I come home or when I go on vacation, where I can go and where I can't go. I do not need and do not want anybody to do that. I do not want that to be the future for myself or my generations after me. And I just can't figure out why nobody else is seeing that, why nobody else feels like this is a problem, because it's imminent. In a state of war, if war come to this country and you got the fiends back there itching, if you got the ones who want to pull the trigger, they itching to dictate your every move, everything. If you fart, they gonna register it. They dictating your every move. Why would that not cause a concern, an alert for people? Because people always people are reactive. People always want to be reactive. And once they become reactive, then now they want to play victim. Oh, I can't believe they're doing this to us. This is not right. Well, it's too late then because they did it. At the time you were supposed to be paying attention, you chose not to, so oh well. And I'm going to keep going because I'm going to hurry up. I done already talked too much. So let me go. Okay, so the emergence of global economy. We can just talk about the homelessness, the wages, global economy, the presidency, the government. I mean, the fact that they want to change everything digital. They want to change you to digital. They want to change your car to digital. They want to change your house to digital. They want to change your money to digital. They really want to put a chip inside of you so when you go somewhere, whatever it is on your body, you just scan that. They want to make you an AI. They really want to make you AI. People think AI. No, you're going to be the next AI because they want to chip you all the way up. They want to chip you up. And from what I hear, they already started. They tried it with the COVID vaccinations because from what I hear, COVID vaccinations got little bitty chips of metal in there. Check that out. Research it. Don't just take my word for it. Just check it out. Microchip, micro mini chips of metal. Why would they need that in any vaccine that doesn't work? Why would they need micro metal chips? Why would they need metal in there? Metal is magnetic, whether it's in a body or not. If they got a strong enough magnet, if they get you to take 1, 2 doses, 3 doses, 4 doses, 5, 6 doses, 7 doses, 8 versus 10. If they get you to take all these doses of all these medication, of all these vaccinations, and they're filled with metals, and one day they decide to turn on a giant magnet, where do you think you're going to be? Where do you think you're going to be drawn to? I mean, I'm just saying. Just check it out. I'm just saying, and let me keep going. Okay, I did earthquakes and natural disasters. Yeah, I think that's it. The last one was the economy, the emergence of the global economy, and that's how they want to make everything digital, including you, because now it'll make it easier for them to control you. They can't control you now because they don't, they can't control your body. But if they keep putting all that metal and stuff inside of you, all they got to do is turn the magnets on. Wherever they want you to be, you're going to be there because you're going to be magnetized to wherever they turn it on. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Why is nobody else thinking about this? Why is nobody else in an uproar? When do we say our life is valuable? Do you think your life is valuable? When do we say our life is valuable? You know, we need to fight. We need to stand up. We need to ask some questions. We need to change some shit. When do y'all say that? I don't know. People. We got to get over. We have got to do better. We got to do better. You have to take off these rose-tinted glasses and thinking that everything is okay. Thinking that your government have your best interests at heart. They have showed you time and time again the evidence every single day of how they feel about you. It's like a bad relationship. It's a toxic relationship, and you just keep being abused. I mean, when do we say enough is enough? I love myself more than them. That's what you got to say. You got to say, I love myself more than the devotion that I'm going to give to them, more than the trust that I'm going to give to them. You have to say that. And until you say that, you're going to be destined or doomed to whatever they have planned for you, whatever they have planned for you. And on that note, I'll say ochite until the next video.